It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute.
You're not on, but can you hear it okay?
Care, giving
yeah, okay,
you
good.
every reason
turn it down
to
if
choose
you need
Hayes
to.
Med.
Dustin's
United
deaf, so
Rentals, your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. VTI, your John Deere dealer, with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. VTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Royal Roofing. Give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. And Eagle, our community connected. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good Monday morning. Welcome into Tiger Talk here along the Tiger Sports Network. Good to have you aboard as we talk some Fort Hays State University basketball. Good week for the Tigers, both the men and women on the road. They've been road warriors a big chunk of the year. 6 of the first 8 conference games all away from home. They wrapped up that stretch with games Thursday in St. Joe against Missouri Western, and then Saturday in Maryville against Northwest Missouri State. The Tigers come away with wins in all of them. We'll review the week. We'll preview some home games. Tigers at home now for the next 2 weeks. Our next 4 will all be at home starting this week's Rogers State on Friday, or on Thursday, and then Saturday, Central Oklahoma. So some big games for both the men and the women coming up this weekend at the Coliseum. Certainly hope to see you out at the games. If not, of course, you can always catch them along the Tiger Sports Network. We'd love to hear from you. You can chime in with a question. Go to the FHSU Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab. You'll get that drop-down menu there in the very lower right-hand corner. You'll see Ask the Coach. If you use your question, a chance to win yourself a Mix 103.3 T-shirt. Head women's coach Talia Cars will be with us a little bit later on in the program. We're going to have an associate head coach, Jeremy Brown from the Tiger men's squad with us today. Mark couldn't be with us here this morning, so we'll get the real inside scoop of JV here on the program. We'll get to him in just a little bit. Do need to remind you, you can always sync up our radio broadcast with the MIAA video feed on the MIAA network. All you have to do is download the TuneIn app if you don't have that already on your smartphone or your tablet, however you want to listen to the game. But then you'll search Mix 103.3, make that a favorite on game day. That's where you listen. And then when you're watching on the MIAA network, you'll usually we're a little bit behind, you'll pause right before tip-off on the video, let the audio catch up, and you can sync it up and listen to the play-by-play from the radio while watching on the MIAA network. Tigers win over Missouri Western and then again over Northwest Missouri State this past week. Jeremy Brown, associate head coach, joins us, filling in today for head coach Mark Johnson. Appreciate you stepping in for the coach JB, and congratulations, good wins. I know this was a tough road trip in the sense that it took a late basket to beat Missouri Western when you played them early in January at home, and then in Northwest you played so well and you were so good defensively. You knew they were going to be much tougher at home, but you got to be so pleased with the way your guys came out and won both of those games. Those are 2 big road wins.
2 big road wins. We knew it was going to be 2 tough teams. Every time you go on the road in the MIAA, obviously you got to play really, really well, and it starts with your defense. And Coach Johnson, the big message to our players in this last week was we got to get off to better starts. In the last 2 games against Emporia and Kearney, we started a little bit slow. Defensively, we were okay, but we just started a little bit slow, and it just kind of took us the whole game to kind of claw back. And so Coach Johnson really set the message of, hey, we need to get out to a little bit better starts, play with a little bit more urgency coming out of the gates. And credit to our guys, that's exactly what they did. Came out in both games, and we jumped on them early, and we're really, really good on both sides of the ball.
And when you get off to good starts, especially early in games, you see it so often. You get off to a great start, and then there's a letdown, and then the opponent comes back, and then you're in for a game, especially when you're on the road. I mean, it's hard to maintain that. And that happened somewhat, but you had such a large lead. It didn't really matter, but to really not let those teams come back and make a serious run to where now you're going down to the last 3-4 minutes of the game also says something.
Yeah, with our guys, once again, those guys, we were focused. We're a little bit more mature mature. We have some older guys, so they understand, hey, you got to play the first possession the same as the 20, the same as the last. And our guys did a good job of just staying locked in. And especially against like Missouri Western, I think they've only had one home loss throughout the year, so we knew it was going to be tough. And it kind of all started, offensively. I thought we were really, really good. We were a little bit more patient than what we've probably been in previous games, and we got the ball moving second, third, four sides of the floor. And instead of settling for something average, probably at the start of the possession, our guys made that extra pass and ended up getting some really good shots. And I think you can tell by looking at the stats that we ended up shooting pretty high percentage. I think that's just because we were just a little bit more patient on the offensive end, and obviously defensively we've been good the whole year. And our guys just maintained that intensity on the defensive end and did a really good job. Mo West, I think, has only been held to under 70 points maybe twice, and both times were against us. So credit goes to our guys playing really hard and picked up, obviously, 2 really good road wins.
Well, Noah King, I mean, he looks like he should be playing in the the Noon Bowl of the Rec League. So he's such an outstanding player, Western's leading scorer. You really frustrated him. I think he started 1 for 10. I know he got to double digits. A lot of that came late when the game was in hand and decided. Yep. And you had Dan on him for all. You had some different guys, but you really made life difficult for one of the better scorers in the league.
Yeah, we made him get 11 points on 14 shots, and like you said, a couple of those were late. But Dan, we've put Dan on him twice now. We wanted to put a little bit more size on him, even though he's only about 6'2", 6'3". He's a big guy, and he kind of has that old man game where he just kind of, just takes his time. He's pretty patient, can really handle it, up and under moves. But Dan did a great job. Just stayed big, stayed in front of him, made him shoot over him, and made it really, really hard on him. And then obviously when Juju got put on him, or Kyle, they all just did a really good job. Kyle did a good job. We put him on Ty Henry, and Ty Henry, I think, is Missouri Western in conference plays their second leading scorer, and he's been putting up big numbers. I think he was averaging close to 20 points a game coming in his last couple conference games right before us. And give credit to Kyle. Kyle did a really good job staying with him. Those guys do a good job moving without the ball, and Kyle took the challenge and really did a good job shutting him down as well.
Did a great job. And Kyle had one of those games. Offensively, it was okay. He didn't have huge numbers, but he rebounded well. And you mentioned the defense, and his offensive numbers maybe haven't been as high as maybe you even want, or what maybe he's looking for, and do you figure you'd build off of last year? But he's become a good rebounder, and a lot of those other elements of his game have really stepped up this season, it looks like.
No question. Even against Missouri Western, he almost had a double-double. I think he had 9 points, 8 rebounds, and even though he's probably not shooting as well as he would like, he's doing some other, he's rebounding defensively. I think he's taken a step this year, and he's gotten a little bit better. But it'll come, and Kyle's obviously a huge part of our success, and he's just done a little bit of everything for us.
And those 2 guys, King and Henry, defending them can be frustrating because you can do everything right, and they just had that little fadeaway, that step-back shot, and they hit a few of those, and boy, it can be demoralizing, but it didn't seem to bother your guys. It's almost like, hey, they're going to hit a few of those, just keep grinding at it, and over the 40-minute course of the game, we're going to be okay.
No question. I think we did a good job. I think we frustrated Mo West a little bit in the fact, they had to come down. We did a good job in defensive transition, so they had to come down and play against our half-court defense the whole time. And then we were doing a great job on our first shot defense. They're a really good offensive rebounding team, but we limited them to, I think, only 5 offensive rebounds, and so we were doing a good job of just making them take tough shots, getting that rebound. And then the biggest thing is we made them guard on the other end, and we took our time. So that, you have to guard us now for 30 seconds, and we were doing a really good job of moving the ball, and then they would have to come down and go against our half-court defense, and that can be pretty frustrating. Also, all of a sudden you look up and you're down 20 to 7 or whatever it was. I think we allowed 7 points in the first 12 minutes of the half, and so it was a really good game, and our guys played hard.
We talked with Coach last week. We mentioned you have a little time now. Didn't play over the weekend. One, to kind of get your legs back under you after the crazy, hectic start to the new year, and then a chance to maybe work on some things. And offensively is one of the areas he mentioned. It's like you can't change a ton, but you could just run better stuff. It felt like that time off that you're able to emphasize, because you said the ball movement left to right, in, out, kicking around just really made the defense rotate a lot, and then eventually you found good open looks because of it.
We really did. Our guys were playing really unselfish. We did a really good job of moving the ball and getting into that third side of the floor and making the defense move. And the one thing about Mo West is they switch a lot, and so sometimes, especially the first time we played them, we kind of got caught up in holding the ball, trying to look for the advantage and everything. And sometimes when you do that, you just don't get in a very good flow. But this time around, our guys did a really good job just moving the ball, keep it swinging, moving ourselves, and we ended up getting real high percentage shots, and we ended up knocking them down.
Well, the Tigers got a nice win over Missouri Western, a team that was battling near the top of the MIAA standings. Turn around 2 days later, head to Maryville to take on the Bearcats. We'll talk about that game. We'll preview the games coming up ahead here this week as the Tigers begin a nice stretch of games at home. Tiger Talk today presented by BTI, your full-service John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. We'll take a break. More with Associate Head Coach Jeremy Brown when we return here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
So I had a gentleman come into Golden Belt Bank, very confused with an estimate of closing costs and fees he received from another bank. And I said I would sit down with him and go over these costs. We also issued some closing costs and fees that he could compare. He ended up choosing Golden Belt Bank as his bank. I would do that for anybody that walked in here, anybody that was confused. I really do want them to get the best deal that they can. We try and do everything possible to make their dream come true. Golden Belt Bank, one story at a time.
Clanks off, no good. Kyle Grill the rebound, and he keeps it in play. Got it to Conte before falling out of bounds. Up the floor, Martino, a quick trigger three, and he buried it. Javari's second three gives him 10, 26-7. Fort Hays State up by 19. Javari's second three of the game. That was a big run in the first half for the Tigers. Javari had a big hand. We're going to talk more about him in just a little bit, but excuse me, some of the highlights from Thursday. Excuse me there, as the Tigers knock off Missouri Western. Tiger Talk today presented by the Taco Shop. You can order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Associate Head Coach Jeremy Brown filling in for Head Coach Mark Johnson today as the Tigers are coming off a nice road swing. 6 of their first 8 conference games on the road. They go 5-3, and I'm guessing, Coach, if we'd have told you guys going into the year, 6 of your first 8 are on the road. One of them is going to be Washburn, coming off a national semifinal appearance, and you're going to go 5-3, and you look at who you're going to play. I'm guessing you just said, yes, sign us up for that. So, and you can always get greedy, and there's always a few in there you wish you could have had back, but a 5-3 start with 6 of those 8 games away from home is a pretty good start, especially in this conference.
Yeah, obviously, you always want to win them all, but we knew coming into this stretch it was going to be a tough stretch, especially right after the Christmas break, where we played 4 games in 8 days, and getting back late at night from Kearney and having to turn around and go back up to Emporia. We knew it was going to be a difficult stretch, and but to come away with the success that we did have, I think you're right. I think we'd take that. So now that we're getting some home games, now obviously we got to make that push and kind of try to separate ourselves, and hopefully we can find a way to get that done.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the upcoming week, but certainly different pressures now when you play at home. Let's go to Northwest Missouri State. You're coming off the great win at Western, a Northwest team that you really clamped down. Maybe as good of defensive effort as you've had all year against them on New Year's Day that evening, and you're going to their place. It's been a tough place to win. And they're certainly a better team than what you guys made them look. But kudos to your guys. They came out, you locked down, made it difficult, got off to another quick start and a big lead, and that was an impressive win on Saturday.
And that's the thing about both of these teams. Defensively, we've been playing at a pretty high level, and so you see what we did against Northwest the first time, you're like, oh, well, Northwest, maybe they're just struggling a little bit. But that's not the case. Both of these teams are averaging close to 10 made threes a game. Mm-hmm. Both of them offensively have actually been really, really good throughout the year. And so that's, our guys have been doing that. Our guys have been making these teams look a little bit probably more average than what they really are, and so that that's just our guys coming out and kind of taking them out of what they're trying to run. And Northwest, they run a lot of good things. They run a lot of ball screens. They're constantly moving. They're always putting you in tough situations. So for our guys for 40 minutes to battle through all those ball screens and execute at the level you need to in order to slow those guys down, it was a really good showing by our guys.
No doubt about that. Big day for Dan. Double for him. And we were talking before we went on the air how sometimes a guy scores 20 and it doesn't feel like it, and you're just like, this is one that felt like he probably scored 30. He had a stretch there. He was just dominant.
He was really good. He didn't miss a shot. I felt like for the whole entire game. And credit goes to talking about earlier about our guys making an extra pass. I think Lucas Hammocky for the weekend maybe had 18 assists and only 3 turnovers. And against Northwest, he had a double-double with 12 assists, 10 points, and he didn't turn over the ball. And he just did a really good job of giving the guys the balls on time, on target. We were running some ball screen action right there, and he was just making the right reads, and he set up Dan for his little mid-range, and Dan right now has not missed that mid-range at all. And so, we're just running good offense, and Dan was able to take advantage of that.
One guy I want to talk about was Javari Martino. Big offensive game, 19 points against Missouri Western. And Coach Johnson, we've talked about it on some of our chats and on pregame. His defense has been remarkable. He's kind of taken that Caleb Hammocky role of guarding the opponent's best perimeter scorer and really making life miserable and shutting them down. Not easy to do, and he's really just seems like he's just taken that role to heart and has been really, really good.
He's been really good. Javari he's been incredible on the defensive end. He's been really good on the offensive end as well, but defensively, we were a little bit worried coming in the season who's going to replace Caleb on the defensive end. Caleb could get through every screen. He never got tired. He did everything right, and so we were a little worried about, who was going to be able to take that role, and Javari has. Javari with his athleticism and his toughness. Right now his motor is going at a high level, and he's getting through screens. And we're just putting him on the best player and saying, hey, shut him down. And Javari is making it very, very difficult on the other team's best players. Not only they're not scoring, they're having a hard time just getting shots up. And if Javari can continue that, he's going to be one of the better defenders in the league. He's been pretty special on that side of the floor.
I had a chance to talk to him after the game on Thursday, and you could tell he's taking pride in that. That's something that that's important to him as much as scoring, and that seems like your team. It's amazing. We've talked about the defense, and that's always been the MO since Coach Johnson has been here. You play tough-nosed defense, you rebound, we'll figure out enough on offense to win games, and obviously we're going through a stretch here where it's been as good defensively as you could ever ask for. And you always think there's going to be a drop-off, but it's amazing how even the new guys, they buy into it, and that becomes, this is our identity. It's just fun to watch that.
Yeah, it is our identity, and Coach Johnson is always, he does a great job of that's what we teach every single day, and that's what we want to be known for is our defense. And so Coach Johnson every day is harping on that, and toughness and effort. And at the end of the day, if it really doesn't matter what the X's and O's if you're not going to play hard. And I think obviously Coach Johnson does a great job of communicating our expectations and how we need to play in order to be successful. And obviously that's going to start on the defensive end. And to the credit of our guys buy in, and they go out there every game so far, and they've played at a high level. They compete, they play with a sense of urgency, and in order for us to get where we need to go, we got to continue to do that.
Got to ask you about Juju Ramirez. Finally saw him hit some shots when he scored 17 in the game, knocked in some threes. He'd been struggling mightily offensively. Good to see him have a breakout, and now hopefully that could be a springboard for the rest of the year.
Yeah, first of all, he's a great kid. He's a great kid, and he's, obviously his first year of program. He got slowed down at the start of the year with some injuries. So it's just taken him a little bit of time to probably get comfortable in our system. And then on top of that, Dan and Kyle and Javari and the rest of the guys, we kind of go to more on the offensive end. But Juju has been putting in some extra time. He came in a lot on his own the last couple weeks and has really been putting in the time. And obviously I'm very excited for him and happy for him that all that extra work has paid off. And he came out and, he can do that. He's a skilled guy. He can shoot the ball. He can handle, he can pass the ball. And so for him to be able to come in and give us another option, especially on the perimeter and to open things up. That was big for us, and hopefully he can continue to do that, and that's just going to help us a little bit on the offensive end and free some other guys up. If he gives us another option, that's obviously going to help.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch, see if he can continue to do that. But it's amazing to see the ball go through the basket. That's probably the biggest thing. You're shooting it better, but as you said, a lot of it, you're executing better, so you're getting better looks, and that usually is a direct correlation of that. But you see a few guys hit shots. You saw it at Western, and then it becomes contagious, and it's fun to watch. And that's kind of been the one thing on this team, shooting it consistently. Hopefully now they've seen that a little bit, and you can do that. Because if you can start doing that, this becomes a pretty complete team.
No question. Right now, obviously, we've always been, defensively, we've been fine. But at the same time, sometimes when you're playing really hard on the defensive end, you're struggling on the offensive end. Sometimes that can, all of a sudden you kind of get down a little bit, and you're going to let your defense slip. But so when it's nice to, kind of get rewarded for your effort on one end, and on the offensive end right now, we're, kind of like I had mentioned earlier, we're just moving the ball better. We're moving ourselves better. I think we're slowing down a little bit. It's probably helping us get a little bit better looks. And, if we can be more consistent from the perimeter, we have a chance.
That Coach said, doesn't take a ton, just a few extra shots to go down, and makes a big difference. Well, big week coming up for the Tigers. They're at home for the next 4. This week it's Rogers State on Thursday, and a very improving Central Oklahoma team. They're getting healthy. We'll talk about them here in just a little bit. Tiger Talk presented today actually you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports in the Sideline Store. Go to FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop. You'll find hundreds of products and designs, and they're all customizable. FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop, and open up the Tiger Team Store. One more segment with Associate Head Coach Jeremy Brown as we continue on Tiger Talk here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
At BTI, we pride ourselves on providing quality John Deere equipment and customer support. Since 1944, BTI has been serving farmers and commercial operators with mowers, tractors, and compact construction equipment at an affordable price. As a leader in the ag industry, BTI offers complete technology solutions so our farmers can help keep America running. Experience the BTI difference for yourself.
Call on BTI.
Our family in partnership with your family.
Tigers are plus 11 on rebounding. Here's Ramirez, another 3. Make it 4 in the game. Juju Ramirez with 14. 53-29.
Yeah, some of the action from Saturday in Maryville. Big thanks to Dustin Armbruster filling in on the call for both the men and the women as I attended a nephew's wedding in Manhattan, so appreciate that. Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank. It's banking one story at a time. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them online at goldenbeltbank.com. Associate Head Coach Jeremy Brown with us today, filling in for Head Coach Mark Johnson. Before we talk about Rogers and UCO a little bit, just want to ask you, Associate Head Coach, everybody sees a game, coaches up, working the officials, doing the coaching, can be very animated. You're there on the bench. What are you doing game day wise? What's your function? What are you watching? What are you telling coach? How does that all work on game day when the Tigers are on the floor?
I've been pretty fortunate. Coach Johnson is, working for Coach Johnson is. He's always done a good job of including his staff and getting our input in different things and everything. So kind of during the game, just trying to watch what's working offensively, what are we struggling defensively, if they're doing anything that's causing us trouble, and if we need to change anything. Kind of keeping track of, what set plays have been getting us baskets and things like that, and obviously fouls and if guys been in there for a while, get some substitutions and things like that. So just trying to, just all aspects of the game, just trying to figure out what's working for us and what we need to get better at, and kind of go from there.
And been several years now, you've added another assistant, having a guy like Rusty on the staff who played here and has some big time experience. Was a head coach at Colby for a while. That's kind of unique for that second assistant, and so you got a pretty good brain trust there to work together, all three of you.
Rusty's been a great addition to our program. Obviously he's played for Coach Johnson. He knows what our expectations are. He's familiar with how we do things, and he's probably a good balance, especially for me, because at times I can, he's a lot. I would say he's a little bit more calm on the bench and than what I am at times. I'm still kind of maybe
fiery.
Fire is probably a good word, Gerard. But so Rusty just does a good job probably balancing us out, and he does a great job with the players and communicating with them, and so he's been it's been a lot of fun having him part of our staff.
We joked before we went on, usually the lead assistant's role is to help keep the head coach calm during game day and during a game, and you maybe aren't the best person.
Probably not the best.
You maybe get more
probably need to get a little bit better than that. That's, I've only been working on that for probably the last 20 years of my coaching career, so maybe one day I'll figure it out. But like I said, I've been very, very fortunate to work under Coach Johnson for as long as I have, and just the way he runs the program and everything is I'm lucky to be around it.
That's really fun to watch, and every year, that's the one thing you don't worry about. Teams playing hard. Maybe they don't always play the best. Maybe they don't hit different things, but they're going to play hard. Because if you don't play hard, you're not going to play. And then the players buy in, which I think is so much fun to watch. And I personally like when you see a team just get demoralized because you've just locked down on them all day and they just throw in the white flag and then they're done. To me, that's fun basketball.
Yeah, no question. And that's what we talk about our guys. It's fun to win, to play hard. It's not fun when you go to the back gyms and you're just messing around. Nobody's being competitive. That's not fun. What we think fun is playing hard, competing. Kind of like you said, just imposing your will on the opponent, and we think that's being competitive. That's what's fun about basketball, and our guys so far at this point have done a good job doing that.
All right, we talked about it. 6 of 8 on the road to start conference play. Now you get a big stretch at home, including the next 4. But some good teams, and playing at home now brings some different pressures because now you're defending your home floor, and you got to find a way to win these games.
Yeah, if you want to have good years, obviously if you want to have a great year, you have to go win on the road. But if you just want to have a good year, you have to win at home. And every game, it doesn't matter in the MIAA who's coming in. Everybody has players. Everybody has some guys who can go. And so even though at their home, there's going to be 2 tough opponents this week in Rogers State and UCO. Both teams, they have well coached. Rogers State, obviously, Justin Barkley down there has done a phenomenal job with that program. When they come in, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get guys who are flying around. They're playing hard. They're a lot like us. Yeah. Defensively, that's kind of where they hang their hat is on the defensive end. They're going to blitz our ball screens, and they're going to be physical. They're going to rebound, and then they're going to on the offensive end. They got some guys who can really shoot the ball. So that's going to be a tough challenge for our guys. And then you turn around on Saturday, and you got a UCO team who, with Coach Hoffman, obviously he's coached at the highest of levels, and they always have talent down there. And this year the same thing. They've been pretty beat up this year. They've had a lot of injuries, and so it's kind of they've started off a little slow, but now they're getting healthy. They're playing a lot better now, and so it's going to be 2 tough contest this week.
Yeah, Willenborg, one of their returners from last year, he was a guy for folks in the MIAA Tournament Championship, missed that 3 that would have won that game for them. He was National Player of the Year a few weeks ago. It just shows you the type of talent they have down there.
Yeah, he's been putting up big numbers. I think right now he might be leading our conference in scoring. He's had a phenomenal year, and slowly they're starting to bring back some of their guys that they had last year that have been kind of banged up, and so once they get a little bit healthy, obviously they can really fill it up. They're going to be a little bit different from Rogers. They probably play a little bit quicker up and down. Defensively, they're going to throw some different looks at us. They're going to go man. They're going to go zone. They might trap. They might press a little bit. So they're going to change some things up. Where Rogers, you're going to be seeing a man-to-man every time down. So a little bit 2 different teams, but both obviously well coached. They execute and obviously talented.
But should be fun games. 7:30 on Thursday, and then at 4 o'clock on Saturday, the Tigers with Rogers State and Central Oklahoma. Coach, really appreciate you stepping in, filling in for Coach. I will say, I do enjoy your 2 boys. They sit close to where we do. I don't always see them, but I hear them during the games. They are into it, and that's a lot of fun. I love that.
You'll get an earful. Yeah, they probably been watching their dad a little bit too much.
I was going to say, I think I know where they get it from, but But it is fun to have them get into the games, and they certainly make some noise when the opponents are at the free throw line. JB, appreciate it. We'll see you at the Coliseum on Thursday.
Thanks, Gerard. Appreciate
there you go.
it.
Jeremy Brown, associate head coach, filling in for Coach Mark Johnson today. The Tigers with Rogers State on Thursday, and then Central Oklahoma coming up on Saturday. We're right at the bottom of the hour, so before we go to break, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here along the Tiger Sports Network.
Beers, wines, and spirits. Pick up a winner at Kaiser Liquor with 2 convenient locations in Hayes. Tiger Radio. Mix 103.3. KJLS. Hayes.
We're going to send the break. When we come back, women's head coach Talia Kars will join us here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Looking for unique flavor at low prices? Look no further than Taco Shop in Hayes. We have original, made-from-scratch Mexican food, sure to satisfy an empty stomach. Take a bite out of these delicious deals. Grab a beef or cheese enchilada, bite into a beef and bean burrito, or chow down on a Sancho. Save time with our free Taco Shop app. Have delicious fresh taste in just a few taps. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Taco Shop. You've never had it so good.
Come on down to the taco shop. You never had it. You never had it so good. To the taco shop.
Fort Hays State with the basketball up by 4. Zika, left wing to Stearns. Ellie now top of the key to Weeder. She'll launch a 3. Good. That's Alexis. Started slow. Now 2 straight. Weeder was 7. And it's 11-4 Tigers on a 9-0 run. Yeah, part of a big run on Thursday in St. Joe. Tigers knock off Missouri Southern, holding on the second half, and then get a big road win at Northwest Missouri State on Saturday. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's brought to you in part today by Royal Roofing, the #1 local roofing company. Roofing, guttering, siding, and windows. Call today for a free estimate and give your home the Royal treatment with Royal Roofing. Head coach Talia Kars joining us now. Tiger women keep on a rolling, 9 in a row, sharing the MIAA lead. Now a 3-way tie for first place. Central Missouri lost over the weekend, so they drop into that 4th slot. But nice road wins. 2 tough teams on the road. Certainly Missouri Western, a challenging team and just very athletic, and some players who can score. And then Northwest saw what they can do when you played them the first time. To go on the road and win in their place says a lot about your team. Those are 2 nice wins.
Yeah, no, definitely. Western's tough. Going back and watching film yesterday, it was a high-paced game.
Yes, it was.
The whole time it was on our film, it's usually sped up, and it was really fast watching film. I was like, wow. Usually it's actually pretty slow, but I didn't realize just the level of play that we were playing at the whole time, because Western likes to push it, and then even in our offense, it felt like they were up in us a little bit, so we were passing the ball really fast and cutting, and it was a exhausting game going back and watching it.
And in fact, it was only 66-60. It feels like there should have been more points scored in that one just by the pace, but you got off to such a really good start and then just kind of maintained it. Third quarter, I know, kind of let them back in it. And they hit some shots, and they probably got comfortable. They hit some threes after going, I think, 1 for 12 in the first half, and that kind of got them in it. It just felt like more you didn't hit shots like you were. That's what kind of let them close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, I think the second quarter we shot the ball really well. That first quarter we were running stuff really well, and we also couldn't hit a shot, it seemed like, to start the game. But the second quarter we came out and knocked down some shots, and then we saw them do the same thing in the third quarter. But I thought we guarded the three-point line really well the first half. They were always contested shots, and that's why you didn't see them go in. But they're good shooters, and they like to shoot the 3, and they were able to get that done in the third. But I thought we did a good job of just hanging in there and doing what we needed to do. Physical game. I thought the refs did a good job on it, but it was physical. The girls had to battle really hard, and not playing that many people with Ellie going down, I think it made that much more difficult.
Well, and I also showed a lot, because I think they got to within 1 at one point after you had a really big lead of up to 19 at one point. But a lot of teams, it's starting to slip away, and you just see it. They just don't have that extra gear to get them over the hump and hold the opponent off. Your team did that, and then hit enough free throws down the stretch and some shots to hold them at bay. But says a lot about your team to overcome that, because a lot of squads probably end up losing that game.
Yeah, no, we talked about it this week a little bit. It just comes down to who wants it bad enough, and it's just going to be a dogfight. And one possession, I think we tried to turn it over about 4 times, but we were able to run the clock. And so I was like, just hang on to it. And eventually it ended up getting turned over, but we ran about 30 seconds off the clock with like 2 minutes to go in the game. And I think that was huge, but we were going after and it was a loose ball, and then it was a loose ball, and we got about 4 loose balls and then ended up turning it over. But I think that was just why we were able to end up winning that game, is that every loose ball was ours. They were going after it, and it came down to that, who's going to fight the most and take care of the ball when it came down to it.
Probably about the one negative, you had the 21 turnovers, and that kind of helped them stay in it and get back in the second half. Did a much better job against Northwest the next night out. But they seem like, they were ready to take some of the stuff that you've been able to do away, which is a credit to them and the players on their squad.
Yeah. No, we haven't seen that many people get out in the lanes this year. And so I think, especially for our freshmen, it was like, oh, they're going to guard me really hard, kind of the whole half court. And so if Britt had to bring it, or if Liv had to bring it every now and then, I think you saw them tighten up a little bit, and hadn't seen that kind of defense this year, but we're going to see it this week again. So that's something we got to work on this week in practice, is figuring out how to get open, figuring out how to take care of it, maybe not changing direction as much as we were. But I think those were a lot of our turnovers, and thankfully they kind of matched us in those turnovers. Yeah. We did a good job in the full court of seeing the ball and stealing those passes that teams have been stealing on us.
Big night for Telexa, 33 points again. Brooke had a dozen. A game you needed her to do a little more scoring. Had 7 assists, had a few too many turnovers, but also had 7 rebounds in the ball game. And we've talked about it before with Brooke. It's kind of interesting. It was a game. Ellie went down with the ankle injury, so you didn't have her for a good chunk of that. You need someone else to score. She picked it up and did it, and so she just and she also rebounded well, kind of filled in for from what Ellie does there as well. Just kind of like whatever's needed, she finds that niche for that particular game to get you over the hump.
Yeah, Brooke's done a good job of rebounding all year, actually. Yeah. I think she's maybe our second or third leading rebounder. Part of that's the minutes she's playing, but she's doing a good job of finding the ball off the rim, and then she knows she can go faster if she can catch it first. I think that's part of it, but yeah, she figured out how to get the ball in the hoop, and I think they made her a little mad, and so you see her be a little bit more aggressive going to the basket that way too.
Well, you got a nice win, 66-60. Get the sweep of Missouri Western, and have to come back around, take on Northwest Missouri State a couple of days later. We'll take a look at that game, and then we'll preview Rogers and UCO, 2 teams that a little further down in the standings, but playing some pretty good basketball, kind of catching the old adage, not who you play, it's when you play them. And Fort Hays State probably catching those 2, maybe playing some of their best basketball of the season. Tiger Talk is brought to you by United Rentals of Hays, your partner for equipment rental sales and service. Whether it's big or small, find it all at United Rentals. We'll take a break. More with Coach Cars after the timeout here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle. It's rebounded by Pilly. Outlet pass Zika. Cross court Stearns. Underneath Weeder. Layup good. Boy, what a great transition basket there. Telexa all of a sudden with 9. 3 different Tigers got involved. And none of them on that play, Brooke Levy. They still managed to score. That was a nice possession there for Fort Hays State. Tigers go on to beat Missouri Western, holding on 66-60, then come back and get a nice win over Northwest Missouri State, a team they trailed by 20 against when they played them at home on New Year's Day. Just a nice, solid win against a good team. Northwest, obviously, we saw the talent level they had, and that was just a good, solid win. You kind of hold off some runs as you expect on the road, and got a nice road win in a place that can be difficult to win.
Yeah, no, I thought that was as good of a 40 minutes of game that we'd played all year. I thought we came out and we knew their tendencies, and the positive of playing a team that close together is you kind of remember what were we supposed to be doing, what went well, and I think the girls all remembered how they were supposed to guard and really understood tendencies, and maybe studied a little bit more this time, but maybe caught on a little bit easier just because we had just seen them. But I thought defensively we just locked in on what they were trying to do early in the first half. Avery felt like she was giving up 33 right drives 5, but that was what we were trying to make her do. And so she was frustrated because she kept getting beat. And I said, that's exactly what we want her to do. And she turned it over once, and I think she shot a shot that is what we wanted to force her into. And that's part of it, is forcing them to do things they're not as comfortable doing. And you got to kind of pick your poison sometimes. And that was one of those things that was super effective, and she did it really well. And for the most part, everybody else did it really well, and everybody they were guarding.
Well, it was a nice win, and I don't know what it is about the second quarter. You shot it great at Western. You shoot it great, 62% there. That seems like that's been a big quarter. If you haven't gotten off to a great start or a dominant first quarter, which you've seen a lot, it's kind of been that second. Gives you some separation, and then your team being able to do enough down the the second half of games to hold on.
Yeah, I think we kind of get a feel of what they're going to do specifically to Alexa, and she kind of gets a feel of maybe where she's open, and we're able to get her better shots probably in that second quarter. But we understand maybe offensively where we can look to go, but also defensively, I think we settle in really well in that second quarter and are able to get stops when we get stops too.
A pedestrian 17 for Alexa. She did have 7 rebounds. It's probably the way she's been scoring at such a high rate. She's not going to do that every night. I mean, it's hard, especially against good teams, and teams are really making life miserable for her, not even letting her move. I mean, you could argue you could call 2 fouls every possession. It's not going to happen. But I mean, you're going to have games like that. You need people to step up, and Avery had 14, 9 for Caitlin Schumann. You had some players step up because she's going to be the focal point, and they're going to. I mean, it's amazing the numbers she's still putting up, considering she's double-teamed, triple-teamed, and everything thrown at her every night.
It really is, and the other coaches get mad because they think she gets every call, but I think they're telling them to hang on her, so I don't know why they're expecting anything different, because she really does. I think she gets fouled at least once or twice every possession up the floor, and they call it pretty consistently, but I think there's times where they can probably call it more yeah. and the other coach gets so mad, and I was like, you have to foul her to be able to guard her. That's part of it, but they also have to call the foul when you're fouling her.
Foul's a foul.
Yeah. So she does a good job of just keeping her head and knowing it's going to be physical and just doing what she can do. But I think we're getting better shots offensively for other people and seeing where we're going to be open and understanding that. And then also Avery and Caitlin just around the basket. They're taking their time. They're going up strong, and they're finishing through contact too.
It's good to see Avery. And starting to see more of games like that. In a certain game, she maybe doesn't play as much as the matchup doesn't allow. But, man, when she's been out there, she's starting to score a little bit more. You can see the confidence rising. Her defense keeps getting better. And that's been fun to watch her development and become a big part of this team.
Yeah. No, the huge aspect of her game is she knows the offense and she knows how to execute, and she's going to run the play right every time. And I think that's a spot that we lack a little bit offensively sometimes as a team. But Avery goes in and she's going to run the offense, and she's going to do it well. And then we're starting to figure out where we can get her the ball and where she's successful with the ball to put it in the goal. 9
points, 8 boards for Caitlin Schumann, and again, she's a freshman, but we're starting to see things starting to click a little bit and figuring it out. There's been a really good rebounder, but now the offense is starting to come, and you put those two with Alexa, that becomes a challenge for a team defensively. But it's good to see her continue to get better here in her freshman campaign.
Yeah, no, definitely, and we're in a kind of a similar spot as we were last year, where we can play Avery at the 4 and Alexa at the 5, and then we play Caitlin at the 5 and Alexa at the 4, and so we're able to shift things around a little bit and cause them to have to guard at a different position. But we're also again getting those girls in a better situation to be able to score, but they're doing a good job, and it's tough because they don't know where the defense is coming from, because usually they're not guarded when they catch, and then 2 or 3 are coming again, but they're doing a really good job of being patient and putting the ball in the hoop.
Any update on Ellie with the ankle? I know when she went down, it seemed it was going to be devastating, and then you see them working on the ankle, and she's able to walk on it, obviously with the limp. It's certainly much better news than it first appeared, but any update on her status right now?
I think she's trying to get back this week. We're just going to take it one day at a time, make sure she's able to. I think if we had to have her Saturday, she would have tried. But I felt like long-term, we definitely want her long-term, and we didn't want it to be a nagging thing if we re-hurt it. And so we decided to take the day off. And she went and got treatment again yesterday, and we'll do it again today. And so she's tough, and so I think she'll try to go if she can. But we also want to be smart about it, make sure we have her for the long term.
And again, when she's not there, you see all the little things that she does do. She's a good rebounder. She's been shooting it much better this year, which has been a bonus. But defensively, really good. I mean, a lot of stuff that, again, doesn't always show up in the box score. She's usually contributing.
Yeah, no. Defensively against Northwest, she was as good as anybody. Just being there with the shooter, but also being able to have backside help. When we were fronting the post, she was stealing the lob pass. So I was a little worried going to that game just defensively. But, man, the team really stepped up, and I thought everybody got a little better. And I told them after the game, that's my new expectation is that's where you need to be every game now.
Keep raising the bar.
Yeah, keep raising the bar, and we got to keep getting better. And I really thought every single person on the team, even the kids that didn't play, they were into it, and they were yelling what we needed to do defensively because they could see what was happening. And hearing that from the bench is huge when you're on the floor because when you're guarding the ball, you don't know what's behind you. And if you can hear what's behind you from the bench, I think it makes you able to guard whatever's happening on the floor a lot better.
And some of those freshmen got a few more minutes than they're used to and seem to handle that fine, and it's been fun to see them develop. But, this is an opportunity for them to step up and maybe earn a few more minutes after all of this.
No, and Britt had to play a different position.
Mm-hmm.
She came in and played on the wing instead of playing maybe the 4 like she's been doing, and she did a good job of guarding them at the guard spot and also being able to run offense and knock down some shots too.
Well, the Tigers get it done. They knock off the Bearcats by 14, pulling off the season sweep of Northwest. And as we talked about with Coach Brown, now the Tigers, after their 6 of their first 8 were on the road to conference play, the majority at home. But 2 toughies coming up. Even though the records may not look like it, Rogers State playing some pretty good basketball right now, as is Central Oklahoma, probably playing some of their best ball of the year. So certainly will be a challenge for the Tigers when they return home on Thursday. Tiger Talk today is brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, offering the most comprehensive and advanced orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Why travel hours when the best in the region is right here at Hayes Med? We have one more segment. I think we may have a special guest today as well. Stick around. That's coming up next here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Tired of equipment that's seen better days? Or maybe you have a project that requires a bigger machine than you own. This is Blake from United Rentals in Hayes, and we have you covered. Whether you're a contractor, a farmer, or working on your own project, we've got the machinery you need. Big or small, and everything in between, you can rent it for a day, a week, or a month. And if you're looking to own, we have a huge inventory of reliable used equipment for sale. Plus, we can service and repair the equipment you already own. Stop by United Rentals on South Vine in Hayes. We're your one-stop shop for rentals, used equipment sales, and repairs.
Here's Weeder, pump fake from 17, right to the basket, fouled! It'll go in anyway! She's got a chance at a three-point play. That was all muscle by Telexa Weeder to get that one to go up, who has 5 straight and 13 in the game now.
Yeah, Dustin on the call. Big thank you to DA for filling in on Saturday so I could be at a wedding, but appreciate it. Be back on the call this Thursday night. Tigers will be back at home. Rogers State is the first on the docket. That'll be a 5:30 tip on Thursday, and then Saturday afternoon, Central Oklahoma. And Coach, as we kind of teased going into the break, it's not always who you play, it's when you play them. Their records may not look great. They got off to some slow starts, but well, it looks like they're playing some pretty good basketball right now, probably catching those 2 teams playing their best up to this point of the season.
Yeah, most definitely. They played Pitt and Southern last week, and Southern and Pitt are tied with us right now in the lead. And they took Southern to overtime, and they had 1 possession. Rogers had 1 possession to win the game. So they're both playing high-level basketball. They do a good job defensively of kind of having a plan. They know what they want to do. They do it really well. And then they're running some stuff on offense and maybe not seeing shots go as well as they'd like to, but it looks good, and that's what we were talking on the way home on the bus is it looks good, and you never know what day they're going to start hitting them. And so you got to make sure you're making them shoot the toughest shots they can take because it looks like it should go in.
Yeah, we talk about you had 6 of 8 conference games on the road. Your team's been on the road a lot really all year, and you come back home, but you really can't take a deep breath and just put on cruise control because now it's a different type of pressure. You're supposed to win. It's on your home floor, so that's a little bit different pressure for this team right now.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and it's the MIAA, and the MIAA you can't take a night off. You gotta have a really good game plan. The girls have to be locked in. They have to know the scouting report. Every single team that we're playing, even if they're maybe in the bottom of the standings right now, night in and night out, you're prepared every single game to make sure you're not losing games you shouldn't.
And it feels like this team's done a pretty good job of that. I was going to ask you, you're top 10 in the country pretty much all season long. You've got a lot of new players, some freshmen doing all this for the first time. They seem to be handling all of this, and maybe they call it a distraction or whatever, but the stuff on the periphery, leaving it there and sticking to the task at hand on game days.
Yeah, I think they really do. It's not something we talk a lot about. We're just trying to focus on detail things. We're trying to focus on the controllables and rankings and that sort of stuff you have no control over.
Right.
Like, you're winning games and you're trying to win games, but we're really focused on the day-to-day things of showing up to practice, doing every drill as hard as we can go. Defensively, really just locking in practice, and I think they do a really good job of focusing on those things.
Well, the Tigers playing some good ball right now. They've won 9 in a row. Again, we'll try to extend that when they host Rogers State Thursday and then Central Oklahoma on Saturday. We have a special guest today. No school today, so Malachi has joined us, Coach Carr's daughter. She's been on set before, but never a part of the show. We're glad you decided to come with us today. How you doing?
Good.
Glad there's no school today? Yeah, I figured you would like that. Okay, got to ask you, and we see you at games a lot, and how much do you help Mom on games? Are you giving her plays to run? Are you telling her, Mom, this didn't work, you should get rid of that and let's try this? Are you drawing up plays for your mom to give the team? No, you don't.
I think you're understanding it a little better though. You're seeing that people are doing a good job, and you really like watching Avery play, don't you?
I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite player on the team? Avery is. That's a good player. She's improved a lot. She's been fun to watch her grow.
Yeah.
You like? I do every once in a while see you up there with your grandpa and grandma watching the games. That's probably fun. Do you like going to the games with them, or is it just hanging out with them?
Do you like going to the games?
Yeah.
You like going to games?
Yeah, you've been bummed because you haven't got to go on the bus very much this year.
You haven't?
Huh? No, you like going on the bus, staying in the hotel, don't you? But now that you're in school, you don't get to go as much.
As much. So where do you go to school at?
Wilson.
Wilson, cool. What's your favorite? Are you second grade? First grade. Okay, first grade. Do you have a favorite thing to study? What's your favorite thing you're studying? Or do you have one?
Do you have a favorite subject or a favorite special?
My favorite subject is art.
Art. Very good. So you're very artistic. See, you can draw up plays. You can literally draw up fancy plays. That's all. Yeah, you see your mom. Yeah. Hers looks probably more like scribble. You could draw some really neat plays.
Yeah, you use my iPad on the basketball court, don't you, sometimes?
Yeah.
You like to just draw lines, don't you? Yeah.
What do you like to draw? What's your favorite thing to draw? Do you do everything? Whatever.
She's a lot more creative than I am.
Really?
She'd rather have a blank piece of paper and do something with it than a coloring book, wouldn't you?
That's awesome stuff.
Yep.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Well, we're glad you're here today. Do you critique your mom after she gets done with a basketball game and say, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Do you ever ask her? Do you even care?
No, I don't.
You don't care. You don't ask her that as long as. Is there anything? When we did this for football, we'd always have a player. We'd have asked the coach. Do you have any question you want to ask your mom? Like maybe, can you stay up later on a certain
Watch
night?
some more TV.
Watch a little more TV.
Would you like to do that?
You like to do that? Maybe we could get her to say yes, and we'd have record of it, and she'd have to let you do that.
Watch a movie later tonight.
Cool. Well, Malachi, we're glad you joined us on the show. You're always welcome, by the way. Whenever you want to come on, just, it's a few less minutes for your mom, but that's okay. You're always welcome, and we appreciate you joining us for the show today.
Thanks for having us, Gerard.
You bet. And have fun drawing and having art class in school. We're looking forward to seeing your artwork as you keep getting older. All right, that is the true assistant coach for the Tigers, Malachi, joining us for the program, and, of course, head coach Talia Carrs. Again, Tigers at home this week, Thursday night, 5:30 ladies, 7:30 men against Rogers State, and then 2 and 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon against Central Oklahoma. That's going to wrap up the program for Associate Head Men's Coach Jeremy Brown, for Coach Talia Carrs, and for Malachi, our special guest today. This is Gerard Wellbrock. We'll see you again next Monday right here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network.